Naps? What's wrong with naps?
Naps for old people. I'm young and I'm up.
This country was ruined by Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
You're fat.
What is a brewed alcoholic beverage consisting of barley and yeast?
Well, I don't know. Usually you just have a beer.
It's the Al Travis Show. Lucky to have our next guest on. He's on his media tour. He's Representative Max Rymer. Max, thank you very much for coming on the program. I really do appreciate it.
Good morning, Al. Thanks for having me again.
You bet. Before we get into the big stuff, because I like talking about the big stuff, I think we need to talk about the three S's. Save our state by singing. I think that's the three. I saw you on something singing. What were you doing? And again, I wish I would remember. I wish I would have ripped it out of the paper, but it was on my handheld device. I don't know how to share it. What were you doing? You're singing with another group of folks. What was it for?
Yeah, well, it was for a fundraiser for the Minnesota Orchestra, and the Wall Street Journal did a piece on it. And it was one of those things where I got kind of recruited because we had during session, we had like a bipartisan karaoke night. I do like to sing. And from there, we had a 2 Republican, 2 Democrat quartet. We actually practiced a couple numbers and didn't sound like dying cats when we were doing it. So yeah, it was a fun little thing. I think the Wall Street Journal's angle on it was it could be this changing moment in history. I just like to sing. I like to sing.
I don't know how old you are, but the Wall Street Journal is saying that you could change America with your voice, and you're not even on America's Got Talent. I'm impressed. I mean, that's changing the world. Yeah. I saw it. I'm sorry. Again, it was Wall Street Journal because if it was like something I actually have a subscription to, I can share it, but I'm just kind of wall blocked, so I apologize.
I got my name is in the article, and I had to pay the trial subscription. So
that is so wrong. I'm sorry, you papers that do that. Paywalls drive me nuts. Okay, thank you for doing that, and I hope your great tones that we're on this radio show will save America. I'm really hoping for this.
We changed the world. We changed the world, Al.
And is it barbershop? What kind of singing what songs are you doing?
Yeah, no, we did like Hallelujah, like the kind of song, and we did another piece, and basically it was myself, Jamie Long, Patty Mueller, and Sandra Feist, who I serve with all those people, and we rehearsed a couple of times, and I think it sounded pretty good.
Good to go. I appreciate you. Got time to practice as long as the government shut down. That helps. This is so weird. Depending on the side you're on, this is so weird the way we all look at this differently. Golfing with some guys, the shutdown is the largest tragedy that we can experience as a country. I sat down with my wife, said, how's the shutdown affecting you? She goes, what day are we on? I said, yes, 9. Oh, didn't even know. I haven't noticed a thing. How can it be such a difference in how you look at it? I'm sitting here thinking, somebody said it costs $15 billion a day to be shut down. That's got to be saving us money. When does it gather we're out there throwing,
Yeah, it probably is. And as long as I've been involved, there as shutdowns, and depending on which party is not in power, they try to make it this big event, right? That it's the president's fault and that things are just going to get out of whack while it happens. Mm-hmm. And every single time I've been in college, it's like I'm not noticing any difference. Most people don't notice much of a difference in their lives. That's the God's honest truth, no matter who's in power.
I don't disagree. What I find interesting about this one, and I'm sure you've read up on it, is it's a continuing resolution. This isn't we're arguing over a new bill like the big beautiful bill or something. This is just keep this thing going. For me, Representative, I'm mad as all get out as a right-wing nut job because I don't want continuing resolutions. Get the 12 appropriations bills done so I can yell you spent too much on defense or you spent too much on this, and we can bust it. But we don't want to do that. We've been in charge now. Republicans have been in charge. It's time, 10 months, time to get her done. If they say they can get her done in 6 weeks, fine. This is the same continuing resolution every one of these knuckleheads have signed off on 13 times in a row. And now we're going to shut down the government and say there's some huge thing here?
I look at what we do at the state legislature, right? We don't have continuing resolutions. We meet once a year to identify and complete budget items, policy items, and then we're done. All due respect to everyone who's in Congress, you worked hard to get there, whatever. I'm just confused about what they do most of the time. Because it doesn't work that way at the state level.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to work this way, but we let it. And this is, again, back to my problem with the Republicans. I'm being honest with it. You said get us in, and we're going to get back to regular order. You're in. I can't imagine it takes 10 months to figure out this bill, that bill, and the next bill because you're all in different committees. But now you allow this to happen, and Trump's getting blamed for it. Folks, I'm going to just be honest. You can blame Trump for a lot of stuff.
For sure.
He didn't veto this bill. He didn't get it. It hasn't got through the Senate. Blame who you want to blame, but Trump, he's just sitting there. He's waiting for the bill.
Trump doesn't even seem to care what form it's in. You know what I mean? It's like he just put something on my desk. And
give me a spreadsheet. I'll just sign the spreadsheet. I don't really care.
It seems like that's where he's at.
Okay. So, I guess we said it's the shutdown. Do we have contingencies in Minnesota as far as what happens if something like this happens? And what I mean by that is you guys did a budget. Budget is set and balanced. And I'm going to put quotes in there because I don't know how some of these programs we're going to talk about can be balanced. But if this happens, and I want to say Senator Frentz said some $460 million is going to be taken out of a plan for some electric grid thing. Do we have those back? Can we backfill that to keep them going, or is it just stop until we get back in February? I don't know. Yeah,
I'll tell you. I mean, from this past session to now, the common refrain that I keep hearing, whether it's education, whether it's energy, no matter what kind of governmental bucket that we have in Minnesota, I've heard now for the last year, since basically Trump got elected, that, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. We're not going to get federal funding for education. They're going to cut this. They're going to cut that. And there's not been some dramatic shift. They're going to cut Medicaid. How are we going to pay for people's health care who actually need it? It hasn't happened, Al. So I will be a keen observer with this shutdown to see hey, what actual monies are we losing out on and how do we respond to that? But up until this point, unfortunately, Democrats have been the boy who cried wolf for every federal spending cut or rescission or what have you.
So you brought it up as far as following the federal guidelines. Minnesota yelled and screamed when Donald Trump came in and said, we're going to get rid of the Department of Education.
Yep.
The Democrats yelled, you can't do that. Kids are going to starve in the streets and yada, yada, yada. We're going to help. We aren't going to help special needs kids. Everything was going to go to heck.
Yeah, of course.
So the Department of Education is still there. Department of Education puts out, we need you to follow Title IX or you don't get your funding. Now Minnesota says, you can't tell us what to do, Department of Education. We'll do what we want. And as of 2023, gender identification is now a protected class. It used to be gender, now it's gender identification as well. So all of a sudden, you want the Department of Education until it tells you something you don't want, then you're not going to follow it, and we will lose money. Now, guess what? Kids are going to starve in the streets. There won't be sports anymore, and the world's falling. How does it work both ways? Do people not follow along enough to realize they have both sides of the argument always?
It's just partisan, it's make Trump look bad, make Republicans look bad at all costs. And I don't think they operate that cynically all the time, but in this case, you're right. It's give me the money, but don't tell me what to do. Okay, well, it's never worked that way.
Yeah, and Title IX, that's a federal law. Everybody loved it because it gives women equal rights, yada, yada. And because you decided you don't care about that anymore, you're going to and I think Ellison said, it's not that many people. It doesn't really hurt anybody. When's the last time the law was, well, it just doesn't, that's a law, I get it. But until it hurts enough people, I don't care. What am I, it's Moriarty saying we're not going to pick you up for drugs if we drove you for speeding.
Speeding. Yeah, it's lunacy, I think. I think this is what hopefully Minnesotans it's actually grating on them that they have this representation. But what I would just say is for the Title IX, biological men competing in women's sports, if there's even one victim, if there's even one young lady who didn't get her state championship, who lost out on a scholarship, that's one too many. This is an 80-20 issue. We all acknowledge the reality. We can feel different ways about gender identity. We can feel different ways about how you raise your children and what you teach them. But what you can't argue with is the biological differences between men and women. You just can't. And this is a 20 issue.
And if you want to win that issue, then let's take it to the next step, which says there is no difference. Play where you want. So we'll have one basketball team at every high school, one football team, whatever. No reason to have a girls or boys. Girls, everybody can play Missy Mash. It's co-ed, baby, and see how many people get to play. The reason we came up with Title IX so ladies could have an opportunity with themselves. And this numbers thing is nuts. It's only 3, maybe 5, maybe 10 people across the state. It's not that many. Each one of those individuals will play against how many other girls? So that if it's 10, they took 10 girls' spots. That's 10 people affected. Then you're going to say how many other people on that team that they played, and they all play 50 teams a year. Now they had the advantage over all of them. This becomes hundreds and thousands of kids that get affected because one human being says they want their rights, their feelings listened to more than anybody else. This is bigger than that. And follow it through. If your logic works, we get rid of dual sports. No reason to have a baseball and a softball team. No reason. Let's all play baseball or softball. We'll just all, it'll be co-ed everything.
And you and I know at the logical end of that conclusion that biological men will dominate your co-ed sport. There will not be a female starter on most of these teams. No. And that's a tragedy that we have to avoid.
Well, that's how we started Title IX. It's like the first thing I was ever into as far as politics go. I remember it was 78, whatever it was. And people saying, well, that'll give girls the same amount of sports as guys. And I'm like, makes sense. They should. And I never fought it. Now we're down so far down this road. We're like, well, maybe we should blow it all up and get rid of it. That's cray.
Totally I got the original premise. Yeah,
exactly. Got to go to break. When we come back, we'll talk about a special session, and I have a great plan for the Republicans. I want Representative Max Rymer to run this up the flagpole. We'll do it right after this.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck, because that's exactly who we are, your friends at the Capitol, and we deliver results.
At Momentum Advocacy, we bring decades of experience in lobbying, public affairs, and crisis communications.
From local nonprofits to national corporations, we help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
Achieving your financial goals requires individual planning and a comprehensive approach. At Midwest Money Management, our mission is to provide you with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to feel comfortable financially today and secure about tomorrow. Learn more at MidwestMoneyManagement.com. That's MidwestMoneyManagement.com.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Inc., Midwest Money Management, and JW Cole Financial Inc. and JW Cole Advisors Inc. are unaffiliated entities.
Easily offended? The Al Travis Show is not for you. The Al Travis Show. All sides are welcome.
A brilliant idea being brought to you by the Al Travis Show to Representative Max Rymer to bring to Speaker Namath. I want you all to go and tell the governor we are going. We'll go to the special session. We will discuss the firearms thing, all that you want. We're going to do this. The only thing we're asking is at the same time, because there's a lot of us, we're all not going to sit in the same room going through committees about guns. Here's the thing. I think the gun thing is safe. I think there's enough Democrats that just can't go for this. We'll be okay. On the other end, but the only thing we're asking in return is we're going to go through every one of the fraud things that we know about and fix them. We're going to have the opportunity. This last one, Max, Representative Rymer, was sent $20 million to nonprofit organizations that weren't even registered with the government. Now, you tell me we don't have a law that says we only send money to actual companies? No, if it isn't, we're going to put one in. And if there is one and somebody sent it anyway because they didn't want to take the time to look the company up, that person's going away. Going to get a strong, you know what I'm saying? And tell him we're going to take each and every one of these. We're going to tear it apart. You're going to tell me autism doesn't need somebody in charge that actually has a degree in something? We're going to change that and highlight it. He'll never let it happen. He will back down in a minute because you know what? He won't win the gun thing. But I don't think there's enough people anymore that are going to put up with the idea that we don't have an independent inspector general. You'll get everything you want. Push them. Go get them. Yeah.
Yeah. The idea is interesting. I think a standalone special session on fraud is something absolutely worth doing. But just to be clear, on the gun issue, Tim Walz has already backed down because of his own party. All right.
Exactly.
He did not have the votes in his own caucus to make that happen. Al, I got to be honest with you. I'm still interested in having a special session about how can we harden our schools as targets? How can we improve mental health to make sure that tragedies like this don't actually ever happen again? And there are solutions on the table to like improve the situation without infringing on people's constitutional rights tomorrow. Like I invite that conversation. And I also I would love a special session on just fraud.
See, and he'll never call that because it's just going to highlight everything that he is not taking care of. But on the gun thing, I think the Republicans got to stop running from it. This is a constitutional right. We can only go so far in Minnesota. They're not coming after handguns. How come? Because it's explicit in there. The big ugly ones, they don't like that. Okay, but we can have that conversation. People on their side will get stirred up and come to the polls. But if you have a conversation about fraud, you will watch and see people. I honestly think we're to the tipping point. You literally sent you $20 million and you didn't even have to be registered with the state to get it. Can I just start sending invoices and they'll start paying them back? Is that how easy it is?
Can I just have Max Rymer LLC trust me, bro, when I get the invoice out?
Exactly. I mean, this is what is so absolutely crazy about this. And then the rest of the fraud that you've seen from Feeding Our Futures seems to be the same thing. Tell them you're doing something they'd like done and just send in names and say, I did it. You know, the U.S. Attorney Judge said 90% of the housing fraud, 90% at least, was all fake.
Yeah. And you know what's scary? I was having a conversation with a constituent the other day, and he brought up a really good point. They have caught in fraud. So we have $2 billion of fraud, right? Yep. They have caught the people dumb enough to get caught up to this point.
Yeah.
Think about the actual astute, smart operators who do this and have gotten practice at it with, I don't know, double, triple the number. That's what I feel is actually out there.
This lady who had made nothing set up this autism center, got $14 million in 2 years. Okay, you might notice that $14 million from nothing. But the guy who just says, you know what? I could use $250,000. Anybody going to come? They'd have to go through hundreds of people to get to me. All those people lying in the weeds that did the same thing but didn't get, it's hard to say, greedy about it. If they didn't get greedy, they're probably lying in the woods. You're greedy. So I got $200,000 I don't deserve. I don't mean to. That's what I mean to say. If you weren't too greedy, you probably got by with it. Representative, I'm out of time. I want to say thank you for coming on the show, and I know it's a busy day for you today. Thank you for doing this for me. Representative Max Rymer on the Al Travis Show.